What up, man? What up? How you guys doing today? Yeah, I've had a long ass week this week. We lost a lot of sleep, but we made a lot of money. So that's what matters, right? So welcome to another Future Fire style market review. Okay. And we have a lot to talk about with NQ essentially. All right. And so this has been such a phenomenal week. And same thing with last week, right? I mean, this was just incredible, incredible price action. And okay, long story short, I do want to get to this week, but I wanted to basically come on and review these 2 weeks and what happened and what you need to be focused on when you see stuff like this. Okay, so long story short, when we talk about like price action so far. Okay. Now, when you're watching this, it will be Friday. Okay. Because it's about 10 o'clock on Thursday. Um, but you guys are not going to see it till Friday. The biggest thing about this is understanding not just what the week is going to do based on, the Monday and down, but actually keeping an eye on what we can actually expect because of recent price action, obviously, right? So when I'm talking about how I keep myself organized and what was the main focus for me and my Discord this week was the fact that we saw this here. Now, a lot of times on this channel, I mention what I call the majors, right? And for me, that's personally just like the week high. Now, you could do like monthly high low. That's also amazing. But when I'm operating this way, just in a way that where I'm personally comfortable, week high low, day high low, session high low. And normally I'm there we go. I found the lighter pretty quickly today. There we go. Need that Lil Wayne lighter flick type shit. Feel me? There we go. And basically what I'm saying is when I'm focused on the majors, right? This helps me keep track of, you know, what I need to focus on, what's available for liquidity, whether it's internal or external. Okay. That means if I have gaps that are open, see what I'm saying? Or if I have gaps that are already closed, okay, huge fair value gap, closed off by that. These were not met yet, okay? This one got rebalanced, but not these two here, right? And so I could see that coming into the Monday, right? Like all this is completely like wide open in a sense, right? But what I really wanted you to pay attention to, right, when we're starting this narrative, is that now I can remove that. Now I'll bring this back in a moment, but long story short, okay, is the reason why I keep the weeks on like this and I take the sessions off. I want to be able to see everything completely, right? It's funny when they say, "Yo, every time Jake gets quiet, he's smoking and thinking." Every time. I'm telling you, man, you hit the blunt while you trade. When you get to a certain point, all it does is activate my trap card, straight up, and I put my hands right. Yo, I got so many DMs about like Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because you're like, dude, you watch Yu-Gi-Oh? Yes, I watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Who doesn't watch Yu-Gi-Oh? Dude, I'm a 90s kid, bro. Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon are the greatest things that have ever graced the planet. And so this is why when I reference a lot of things that I love, right, it motivates me. And so, like I said, Yugi was not the best duelist. He was super about letting the cards play out in a way to where he's trusting the universe. I don't like my trading like that. I like to be more in control. So me showing you the fact that, hey, yes, you have all this price action down here, all right? This is nothing but noise to me once we get up here. Why? Because we took out an old high from fucking weeks ago. Exactly. But it's not about exactly the fact that we just did it randomly. We did it at a time of the week, a time of the day that actually means something. So when we step into a brand new week and the first thing it does is number one, takes this buy side liquidity. Number two, you're coming from a daily imbalance. Right? Right here. Now, mind you, whole time I've been saying this, the bias that we have, especially in my Discord, we're mostly bullish going into, I mean, we talked about um how a year forms and things like that. But going into the election, I am still anticipating higher prices at a certain point. I don't really consider this a macro sell move until we displace a little further and look to see if we can take this liquidity, right? But I'm not super convinced on this gap here yet. At some point, I do expect it, but not yet. I would like to see more evidence that we are completely sell side, right? And again, I'm not getting to the levels just yet. We're going to get to the gold back levels, but I'm saying like to give you a perspective, like we're coming up inside the gap, right? And 4 hour chart, so you can see relative to what I'm talking about. Look at all this. So when you see how again you're coming into a Monday, you took out a high from weeks ago. All this buy side liquidity was nothing but ice cream, literally, right? And for those who are new on this channel, like I call liquidity like funny names because I teach the kids in my family. So like when you see the they learned about buy side and sell side liquidity, internal range liquidity and external range liquidity, and there is a 15-year-old that probably trades better than you, probably better than you, and at some point probably be better than me, just because I wish that I started at 15. I'll be honest, but um, coming from a mentor perspective, you don't have to give if you're teaching your kids as well too, people who are out there, just come in with words that are comfortable for them. So like I called liquidity funny names because they know that like anything soft or like anything like ice cream, pillows, or like, hey, look at this area. It's going to be attacked. Anybody with a deep pocket is going to attack these um liquidity points, right? Whether it's a form of a liquidity pool or a singular high, singular low. And the 15-year-old understands like how to look for liquidity correctly. And so the reason why, if she can see this, you guys can do it too. Okay? Old high gets taken out by this Monday, and as soon as you step into a new week, that's what makes it significant. This is now for us to evaluate as, you know what? The buying is done. We took out one of the majors. And that's why I talk like that. And so I'm not trying to be Yugi. I'm looking to be a little more strategic. Okay. Not saying he isn't. I'm just looking to not trust just the universe on my trading. So when I'm looking for an old high to be taken like that and we finally get it, this eliminates one side of the marketplace completely. So you can eliminate buys from above the high fully. Now, this is the funny part. What do people do on a consistent basis? Doesn't matter like the model that people have. I still see this a lot in their trading, where they're coming in and let me light the wood real quick. I'll be letting the wood go out, just talking and shit. But um, whatever model that people have, they will get frustrated enough to have a plan and let something slightly be off in your narrative, or you get met with a variable, you might be bearish because you say, you know what, I understand Jay and why turtle soup is like his favorite model to trade. Because when you understand like buy stops are engineered above the high, smart money is going to drive this thing up, right? This is no longer bullish right now. I'm macro bullish, but this is no longer bullish right now. When you're also met with a high of the week on a Monday, I was going to say something just now. Um, this is typically going to be one of the longer range weeks where if this is really the high of the week, yeah, you need to eliminate the buying. Every time you buy, right? And again, let me there we go. I'll lock this actually. There we go. When you see this Monday high, right? And you notice that the Tuesday by default, again, still over this weekly high here, right? You get a candle down here, and again, I don't trade Mondays at all, so it's up to you to really manage that because it's going to be, we talk a lot about day theory, right? Which is just essentially um AMDX, XAMD, which is just the easiest way for anybody to come in and like make decisions about what day to trade or what session to trade, right? Just in general. But long story short, when you see Monday act like this, right, and you're trying to figure out if it's a one you need to trade or just leave alone, I by default don't touch it. I like waiting for Tuesday and using Monday's data. So when you see something like this, what is this? You have nothing but optimal trade entry here. Now watch. The reason why we're talking about this, right? A lot of people, regardless of model, will come in and debate about bias and focus on the lower time frames and have no idea about why you need to be looking for sells only. So in this area, they're buying, they're buying, they're buying, they're obsessing over the fact that it just went so crazy the week before. They're thinking that this motherfucker is just never going to stop. You know what I mean? Again, a lot of people have the eyes on the lower time frame, not the higher time frame also. So regardless of how you're looking at price, yeah, it looks kind of extreme because even if you're expecting this gap to get filled, it needs to do it by a certain time of the day between Monday to Wednesday, if I'm honest. And where are we at now? We didn't fill the gap. So you're not looking for that right now. You need to come in with other ideas. So when this starts to give you an optimal trade entry, right? What do? I tell you about Asia all the time. It rarely fucking survives, bro. And again, that's just me using all the data in the black area here. All right. You feel me? You gotta go Kobe on it. Make sure you're looking to play perfect offense and perfect defense. I talk about sports. I talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. I talk about all these things, right? That again, it's all about your perspective in the market. So even if you are participating, right? Be intentional about your fucking trading. So that means when you're looking at London right here, and I'm a London trader, we understand the session function, which is what? It creates a definitive high or low of the day or a session. an emphasis on this where I said or recession. So obviously, right? Asia, like I said, rarely ever fucking survives. So when you get down here at 3 o'clock in the morning, I always say, not saying you can't trade Asia when it's appropriate, but you don't want to trade Asia every day. You don't want to do that. Leave that shit alone 9 times out of 10. All right. Wait till London and you're met with a low of the session. And we understand that the sell side liquidity of Asia is already taken. So you're looking for buys here. Yes, it's going to go up. Cool. We get that. So what does that do for us though? Right? Because again, what did I talk about down here? You have gaps, you have weekend liquidity, you have Friday liquidity. Okay, there's a lot going on here. And again, these are virtually they're not like super close, but these are close enough to for us to pay attention to. Relative equal lows are a lot better for just understanding. I mean, liquidity pools, sell side liquidity, that's generated like abundantly is going to be from not just higher time frame, but when you're looking at structure visually, I mean, why not attack the points that are just so clean in liquidity? You know what I mean? All this here is just nothing but liquidity, bro. All this is just straight noise to me. So anyway, when you're looking at something like this, yes, this is a measure of buying that you could do. But if you already understand the objective, right? Either you're going to scout this and know that you're only able to run this either above Asia and be done. Maybe looking for Monday's high if you're like understanding that Tuesday typically does it. But since we can't get above close to that Monday by how many ticks? Roughly 80 ticks or so. We did not have enough time to get up there, right? So again, I understand that we came into some news this week. What's going to happen? They're going to be. This is a day of manipulation, by the way. People asked me if this was X or A, right? And this was crazy because, I'll be honest, we were all thinking that this was like a, my bad. I'm like unlocking the wrong thing. But we were all thinking that this was like a X, right? But this is why I always take the Tuesday to verify it. This is definitely an M, right? And how do I know that? It's too far, too fast, right? For the whole day to look like that, I mean, again, NQ moves or New York session moves, obviously. But what I'm saying is, this is a nice run. But if you notice this, we only talk about this taking one side of liquidity, right? It didn't do anything else except go back into the range and go up again, back into the top part of this quadrant. So when you're like looking at all this, yes, A can still be a move, but you also have to understand that like these things have functions. Liquidity is going to be the one to take normally both sides of liquidity or one or a major on a manipulation day. If it's an accumulation, which this is roughly, it creates buy side liquidity from here. Here, it gives us high of the week. We also trade again back to this range, just giving us new short term and intermediate lows. Intermediate low, because this is a rebalancing of fair value gap. This is intermediate. Any candle that's a rebalancing structure, like rebalancing order block, rebalancing fair value gap, those are your intermediate highs or lows. This is a what? Let's annotate. This is a long term. And I'm not saying that for like, hey, long term as in months. No, long term as in we don't have to hit this right now in terms of liquidity. Therefore, I'm ignoring it. And I'm active on targeting the sell side. And so when I'm buying inside of London, we know to take profit at 8 and look for the next move between 8 and 11, which is your optimal trade entry. New York is over London and Asia. And again, if you operate your gold back levels, all right, yep, we can remove that. If we operate our gold back levels, right, and we're going to go to the replay so we can see everything. All right. So select bar. Let's go here. Perfect. Now again, we do like a day or two at a time. And again, like when I talked on this before, this is not very difficult for you to operate at all, really. And so when you're seeing how I'm gonna keep it current, I'm actually not gonna shift it. I just want to keep selecting bar if I need to. So obviously you see how we're in the lower part of price action here, but we're in this area. I want you to watch where we are. Now, this needs to make a lot of fucking sense to you right now. I need you to get here. Okay? Notice this. Why would you have a hard time finding Monday to be our high of the week? How would you know it sooner? Monday high of the week. We also, if you look at my cheat sheet to the right, you'll also notice some Tarzan ass shit right here, where you have these shared highs and shared lows. Now, this is where you want to pay attention. You have both. So, like, do we trade towards shared highs or we trade away from them? Both. Now, that's fucking confusing. Jimmy Neutron. And so when we're looking at stuff like this, right? You notice that what the price is when we get here. This is your 20,655 shared high, right? And you notice that the 243 and the 81, right? And I've talked on this before. Your 243, 81, what is that good for in terms of like trading it or the duration we're expecting for these to either fill in or to move through, right? These are great for, same week, same or day rather. So like intraday trading in general. Um, very, very powerful to see like high lows of the week. And you know that if you literally are somebody who's a trigger happy scalper, right? Yeah, you could have dominated this. Really not hard to be honest. Because we knew that the gap that we were in had to be filled or looked to be filled in some way, shape, form. So we were already looking for the gap to be filled. We woke up and the gap was like already, I mean, whoa, right? So we didn't have a chance to trade to that direction we really wanted to at first. So that's what led us to say, you know what, damn, we had to look at the week and say, all right, well, this is a turtle suit. We're going to stay on the sell side mostly, and the chat's been killing it. Now watch. Like I said, Monday high of the week, you have these shared highs. When you're already on this shared price, trade away from it. You already have other context at your sell side anyway. So I'm not saying you take every single time it just gets here. No, not looking to trade here. I don't trade PM very often. This is only going to be short lived. It's going to wait, right? You already had this much range in the day. We do react from the high and go down to EQ and back. Market maker model, right? On a smaller dealing range, I'm sure. However, when we're looking at this, right, the main idea is that, again, you have to operate based on, again, average daily range, average weekly range, right? So that means, in less fancy words, when I'm operating these dealing ranges, right, we know that the 2187, 729, 6561, these are for longer term trading. Like if you're trying to keep track of price and what it should do over time, yeah, I can go there right now and tell you where that's why I said like macro bullish is kind of like on my mind, right? And we also have like liquidity just above us in general. And I think again, like because we're 2, 3 weeks away from what the election, right? I want to see what the buy side is looking like around then. But for right now, yes, been sticking to the sell side for this week, and it's easy. So watch how we operate the rest of this dealing range, right? So I talked about um here we go. Ready? Yeah. Right, right, right. There we go. Perfect. So this is what I'm talking about. Do you see what I'm saying? Boom. This is easy. You just wait for the next day. And how do you know where this is going to go when you participate from London for buys? You understand the function. High low of the session is really definitive. You step into a fair value gap and you go upward, taking the Asia liquidity, landing obviously where you expect it. Clearly. Now, what do you also get met with in this area once you see this here? Ding, 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 ding. Now, these shared highs, you're not near that anymore. What are your shared lows now? It told you where to enter. Now it's telling you where you're going to expect it to go at least, right? And look how perfect that is. Perfect. It's fucking perfect, right? And again, liquidity is completely taken, so you already know that was the objective. The weekend liquidity. It's clean, isn't it? I know. But the way that I like to describe price or talk about price and the way I like to narrate, right? This is why I show you guys after with the dealing range, I do market structure first. So the same way, I'm like, look, do you see why and how this is significant, right? And again, the time plays this most significant role. This is still going to be between 8 and 11. You feel what I'm saying? 8 and 11, right? And then 8 and 11. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, how do you know to participate? Again, it's the same way we talk about with this Monday high being above 1 week is above another week. You're just doing the same thing with the sessions. One session's above Asia. Session style turtle. Not all turtles are created equal, my guy. And that sucks, but once you understand how fractal the marketplace is, every single concept that you trade can be put into a fractal concept. And I mean every concept. But that's neither here nor there. So you see why this dealing range, and again, we're going to go outward, right? We're going to go back. That makes sense, doesn't it? And you drive down, and where do you end up? We go into this new dealing range, and do you see how, like, why I'm on the 15 right now? This is basically telling you that like, hey, yeah, we had a displacement. A lot of people are going to look for some sort of massive retracement, but it's not going to do that. This creates another short term, and you need to look at it this way. You're not going to automatically just start looking for buys now. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now understand, this is like the end of the kill zone. You know what I mean? 10:30, going to 11 o'clock. Now everyone's like, well, is this the optimal trade entry now? Should I start buying this up? And again, you got all these gaps here, right? So in your mind, you're like, yo, maybe I should just aim for one of these gaps. And it starts going up here, here, here. You're starting to lose equity and possibly a blown account because you keep trying it in here. Don't do that. Do not do that. This is already enough long range, not to say it like that, but you need to like be still focused on one side of the marketplace because we came from that week over the other week idea, the turtle. So again, low resistance liquidity run, every single time it's going to go upwards, it's going to stop on the dime. And it's going to create like this uh liquidity attack, right? Every single time it pops up. But where can you focus? Have your dealing range, EXT levels. If you're not breaking this with some real authority, and again, look, the time is good. So you don't want to really trade like that. I'll box it off here. You don't want to trade that 12 to 1 o'clock. So fuck this here. Fuck all that. But do you see how like right when you get to like 1 o'clock, right? And I guarantee you we can find something interesting down there. Yep, here we go. What can we find down here? All right. So we don't want to trade that, but now again, we're focused on the levels that we're in, right? And so let's pull it back, right? So for here, let's see what we can do. So again, this is a really, really big PO3, and there you go. You can actually operate that 81 really nicely, right? So that's why you come in with different dealing ranges. You don't have to stay on the 243 the whole time. Don't do that. Go down, look and see what you find, right? Because you're going to be met with some stuff that is very easy to trade. And so, even coming down here on a 1 minute, watch this. Now, outside of this, gap, huge gap. Like, I mean, real big gap. Really nice fair value gap right there. Okay. Now, mind you, you're right on the high, uh, like really already giving you the bearish vibe because you're like, yo, you know what? We're not really breaking above this. But when you get into that, like going into 1 o'clock, 12:45, I'm not saying is a good time, but it's not the worst time. So if you want to wait for it, if you understand the level, and that's fine, because it's going to be a low resistance liquidity run right from a real level anyway. But if you want to be a little more accurate, wait till um 1 o'clock or even 2 to 3 for the bullet, you know. But long story short, we stop right in this gap here. I'm looking to see if there's something else that we could use outside of the obvious liquidity void, which starts here. Liquidity void, right? This is why you guys know it's like my favorite level. And it's perfect. It's perfect. You can't deny that, bro. You can't. Liquidity void. LV. Now that you guys are like in my free mentorship, right? You're a part of our club. So the Louis Vuitton level, right? That's what I'm saying, bro. I love that. It does all the work for you, all the heavy lifting. Now, this is another problem I see. We need to talk about this. All right. Now, let's move that. Let's get back here. Turn that off. Now, we talk about how long range this is. We were just in this price action here talking about that move. All right. Now, the reason why this is significant or important is I want you to understand what we're doing for the Wednesday and the Thursday, right? Now, me being on the 15 doesn't help here. So that's why this is the base time frame that I typically always like meet myself at. And again, simple narrative, turtle soup. Day style, right? So that's easy. And the time is good. So this being an X on the day, we had news, right? Last 2 days we had news in the morning. So that creates a XAMD. How do we know that? Because if the news every time you see like red folder, check the night before, right? It's gonna be at 8:30 in the morning news, right? If news is nothing but manipulation, then what do? You already know what the fuck it is then. Asia's gonna be trendy as fuck. It might continue into London, which it does. Or London's gonna be a piece of shit and not really do anything. Exactly. And so I'll show you that too. Watch. See this? That's what I mean. London doesn't do shit. Asia does all the heavy lifting because you have news at the manipulation. X, A, M, and then a D when you're done that, right? X, A, and D. X, London being your A. M, too far, too fast. And distribution is a what? Long, insane, sick, twisted price swing. Right, right. Exactly. You feel what I'm fucking saying. And so when you see stuff like this, you don't have to come in and be confused anymore. I'm telling you exactly what to expect, bro. You can trade Asia. Just check the night before. Check and see if you got red folder news at 8:30 in the morning. Trade Asia. Leave London the fuck alone. You can actually not trade this or my bad. Yes, not trade this manipulation in New York at all and wait for PM session and trade again. I'm trying to get you more organized. I'm telling you, go back test it. Find a day where there was news and a day there was not at 8:30 o'clock in the morning. Whether it's the red folder news or a major, whether it's CPI, NFP, PPI, CPE, whatever you want to check out. Even some orange folders kind of do that sometimes. But emphasis on, again, just like the major red folders. Okay? But listen, let's check these out too. Ready? So, again, I'm just giving you perspective on this was your turtle, right? X, A, London, it was terrible, right? You don't trade that. Leave that shit alone. And again, you see it doesn't create your definitive high low of the session at all. It's just nothing. Asia is totally in control and stays the high until you get met with your next X. That's another clue. When Asia was only surviving through the day, it doesn't normally survive at all. So if it's not going to do both sides, okay, cool. Then we'll expect it a shorter time later, whether it's a day or two. On a really extreme news day, whether like if some certain stocks have earnings and things like that, you'll see an interesting Asia session. But that one could easily not be traded back to for a couple days. But it'll always rebalance itself in a way where Asia is never going to survive, bro. And so New York does the heavy lifting here, and then again, Judah swing, which is essentially your fake run down here, and then to that up move. How do you capture that? You 90-minute cycles that bitch. Easy. What are you already expecting? Manipulation, accumulation, manipulation, and what? Distribution. And you feel me? Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. You feel me? And it's simple and easy, just like that. And we took a lot of moves on this cell on the PM today. That was really good. PM was so fun today. This was an amazing day in the chat. Amazing day. And I want you guys to get comfortable with, again, switching your perspective. You don't have to keep every like thing on your chart every 5 seconds. Turn certain shit off. Put certain other shit on so you can switch your POV. So the same way that I switch dealing ranges and I switch 90-minute cycles or whatever I'm using, right? I have a lot of stuff in my indicator list. I'm not putting all that on at once. No. Using certain shit for certain shit. Got to do it that way. And so watch, right? Now, it's where you got to get creative. I like the 81 because it's amazing for intraday. Amazing for it. Now, when your manipulation starts, you notice bitch not gonna stop. So if you were able to take that move, perfect. It was right coming into like a little after 1 o'clock, which is your watch this. I'm gonna snap again. That's your Oh, gotta fix it. This is your tool you can use for protraction. I was what you see why I paused for a second? I was like, what the fuck? Nah, I just gotta put it on the right one. There we go. Cool. So I'll be doing shit. So there we go. Now notice how this is 12 o'clock, right? And what do? You look for that little pocket right after midnight. Right there. That would have got you in, and then you would have been able to see this down here too. Watch. Midnight protraction, right? 1 o'clock on the dot, and you're ready to go. And this is clean because you're right after midnight. You need to be a what? Buyer under midnight. You need to be a seller above midnight when you have an idea. Okay? If you keep it clean like that, that's what allows you to do that. Right into your manipulation of the 90-minute cycle. And you know to stay till what time? 8 o'clock. You feel me? You stay till 8 o'clock. There's nothing else you got, really. You get one more little spike and that's it. But stay till 8 o'clock. Be done at 8. That's it. It's simple. Now, this right here, I was actually in a one-on-one, right? And again, same idea here, because look, watch. Now, instead of again, I told you I'm not going to upshift it without a reason. I'll just pull it back. I'm showing you where price was at the time. So here, let's do. Now, again, being a buyer in the midnight, that's what you wanted to do. Okay. Now, notice what price is. Look, it came up. Now, you would have seen, yes, price would have hopped into this new dealing range. Now, look, let me slow them down on you. All right. Now, right here, you got to be able to see this shit, man. All right. Now, I saw this at 9:20 and I was slow to type in the chat, yo, this is a good spot for sales. So by the time I got done my one-on-one and got back to my group at 9:35, literally 9:35, 10 minutes too late, right? I'm like, yo, damn, the move already happened. So 9:35 or 9:25, 9:20. Um, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Now on top of that, this is 9:20 and 9:25. All right. You feel me? 9:20, 9:25. You already are at a high, okay, shared high as well. And you have the EXT level, which you already know is the premium of the premium. So what do? Sell that thing down. And exactly, right? So it's funny because anybody that was like, "Hey, I don't know. I mean, I didn't want to chance it with the prop firm." Like, now I get it. You can't really trade like 2 or 3 minutes before or after. And so the biggest thing is you just have to understand your levels all the way. And look, you go right to what? Check this out. All you do is go from imbalance to what? And look, we already talked about this being a massive fucking run on Tuesday, right? Massive run. Talked about why. This was a go back level up here. We already understand how gaps work. Fair value. So it goes from gap to what? Gap to gap. You see what I mean? And so let's do Discord. And everyone's winning shit. It's a lot happening. We some losses, some wins, but majority of wins, which is really good to see. And so, look, I'll show you. All right. Watch, you'll see exactly what I was saying in the chat. So, got these levels, right? Okay. So we talked about the gap there. You see? So we're all looking at these gaps called the turtle soup. That was perfect. Now, notice this, right? So I'm already talking about this XAMD. Already talking about it. And so this is what I was marking out in the Discord. This is why you join the Discord. You see exactly what I'm talking about. I said, yo, you might as well start looking for this gap here. That's what I'm saying. You're already in an imbalance. We talked about these on why I described we're already looking for sells, right? Buys are eliminated. This is not fooling any fucking body. Fuck that shit. Sell side. Okay? And when you eventually get down there, like I said, you got 1 hour fair value gaps. We talked about manipulation, right? You feel what I'm saying, right? And the chat murks this thing, dude. Chat goes nuts. You know? You got some people taking some losses and recovering it back, right? Yep. We sold that down. And we came into that PM session and absolutely, this is my guy, Nigel. He kills it. Yep. And so here you see how like we're framing some of these, right? Okay. And we got some of these other, and again, people kill it in the Discord, bro. This is up to you to come and understand more about your dealing range and have some of these ideas, you know. And again, it's not a me giving you fucking signals every 10 seconds and you just copy what I'm saying. No, you come to learn. I give you signals, yes, but you'll also learn to take your own trades too, you know. That's what it's about. And again, there's no other idea. That's it. You get a, now last part, right? Displacement down. What do you get? It's looking a little order blocky up there. Let's verify it. That's the only time I'm gonna upshift it. Okay. Right? Now, this is funny here because the dealing range does funny things. Let's see if we can do a 3. And there you go. So I had to go into a half shift to show you, but like I said, when you start getting used to the structure, right? We already know that this is an order block. We already know. We see the clear structure, order block. You want to go validate it? Go find it in a dealing range correctly. Here. How we know it's an order block? It's in the right spot. Let's see that. Why do we rebalance right here? Like right there. And you see it's a higher time frame order block. So coming down to the 15, you're not going to look at it that way. Hour chart, order block. Take the order block, and it rips down and takes out what? Sell side liquidity. And I talked about this before. Notice how you got into the gap. Price isn't bullish, is it? Fuck no. So what is it going to do? It's going to create liquidity because you didn't fill the gap at all. So this is not just PO3 liquidity, but you have an unfilled range. And we fill the gap. Now it's 10:50. All it's doing now is waiting for the next now it's going to be AMDX, I believe, because there's no news, so it should be a regular AMD. Yeah. So yeah, you feel me, man? Just trying to let you understand some stuff, man. All right. So, uh, let me roll this wood. Um, I got some other videos to do. I will catch you guys in the next one. Join the Discord, especially if you need help. Join the Discord. All right. Um, yeah. I'll see you later. Bye.